today's breaking news.
A federal judge denies 2 last-minute motions to halt the execution of Jesse Hoffman. The only way left for him to avoid death tonight would be intervention from the U.S. Supreme Court.
Good evening, I'm Rob Manson.
And I'm Lauren McCoy. Without the intervention from the U.S. Supreme Court, Hoffman will be the first person in Louisiana executed by nitrogen hypoxia.
Andres Fuentes joins us live in Angola, where the state could carry out its first execution in 15 years.
And Rob, Lauren, look, the Attorney General's office says that they are very confident that the state will be executing Jesse Hoffman right here at Angola later this evening. I'm going to step out of the way, pan, so you guys can see this growing vigil that is happening right here just outside the gates of the Louisiana State Penitentiary. This is the Louisiana Interfaith Group Against Execution. They have been here for a few hours now and have been slowly growing and growing. This is a number of different faith leaders from across the state and even a few from across the country all here praying against this execution, but also for the family of Molly Elliott, the victim in this case. Back in the 90s, Hoffman was convicted for abducting ad executive Molly Elliott in New Orleans, raping her, then killing her in St. Tammany Parish, execution style. Hoffman has been on death row for decades now in the state today, moving forward with his execution by nitrogen hypoxia, the first time the state has used that method here in an execution. Just more details on how that will take place. The state tells us that he will be strapped to a gurney and fitted with a full-face respirator. Pure nitrogen will be pumped into the mask, depriving him of oxygen until he dies. The nitrogen will be administered for 15 minutes or until his heartbeat flatlines for 5 minutes. I spoke a bit with some of the vigil leaders here outside of the penitentiary, and they tell me there's a lot that goes through not only executing an execution, but the other prisoners there on death row. Take a listen.
I was on death row on Saturday morning when Jesse had to say goodbye to his 55 friends on the row, going cell by cell to tell them goodbye. There were lots of tears flowing down the cheeks of a lot of those on the row who have come to know Jesse and who know who the person is that he is now. He was brought here when he was only 18 years old, and he's a very different person than he was, nearly 30 years ago.
And this execution is going forward despite complaints from not only this prayer group outside, but also a lot of advocacy groups across the country, and even Jesse Hoffman's own lawyer saying that this style of execution is cruel and unusual. But speaking with the Attorney General's office, they say that this is the first of at least 4 executions that the state hopes to do sometime this year, I should say. But for now, reporting live here in Angola, Andres Fuentes, Fox 8 Local First.